Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scriptures. If you find some of the terminology difficult or inaccessible, then go over to our Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll be able to find other content which is perhaps more relatable. Thank you and enjoy the wisdom that breathes.
We would like to extend a very warm welcome to the devotee or our very dear His Grace Gauranga Prabhu, who will be talking, sharing some thoughts on the next topic, which is taking anxiety for Krishna. I don't know how many of us, and I'm sure many of us have taken anxiety for Krishna. Even if we don't take, then Krishna gives anxiety to us. But we have to be brave and take it for Krishna. But from the life of Gauranga Prabhu is a very, very special devotee. When we look at the services that Gauranga Prabhu does, we can say for sure he's the perfect person to speak about this topic, because in all his devotional career, he has taken a lot of anxiety for Krishna and for Srila Prabhupada's movement. So can we please welcome His Grace Gauranga Prabhu with great enthusiasm with three big Haribo! 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 Thank you very much.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा. So when I first came to Krishna consciousness, I was not at all thinking that we come to Krishna consciousness to take anxiety for Krishna. We first connected to have a good time and came searching for Shanti. And most of us felt that Krishna consciousness will help us increase our peace. And so Vrindavan was a very peaceful place before Krishna appeared. And only after Krishna appeared, the demons started attacking. So if you look at Vrindavan Leela, you will find that after Krishna appeared, the series of demons started attacking. And before Krishna appeared, Vasudeva and Devaki had to go through a series of anxieties. So therefore, the whole idea of Krishna consciousness is how we can enhance and increase our relationship with Krishna, and at what cost. So therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam, right from the very beginning, focuses on this theme that when compared to a perfect relationship with anything in this world, a relationship with which you have full control, maybe the best education, great wealth, great political influence, and you seem to be in control of the situation and what the world considers technically as a successful life. So compared to any kind of a so-called perfect relationship with position, people, power, penny of this world, it is always more rewarding to have an imperfect relationship with Krishna. Even if that relationship may be very fledgling, filled with difficulties and challenges, and even though the efforts of the practicing devotee may fail in various situations. And therefore, with that theme in mind, right from the 10th canto, first demon, Putana, this theme is being actually unpacked through the Putana pastime. That Putana came to kill Krishna, had a very, very, brief relationship. It was not a relationship of love, but she had come to kill Krishna. But still, Padbhyam Bhakta Hridistabhyam Vandabhyam Loka Vanditehi Angam Yasyaha Samakramya Bhagavan api tatstanam Yatudhanapi asaswargam avapa jananim gatim Krishna bhuktastana kshira kim uggavo no matara. So if Putana had come to kill Krishna, and just for that brief moment when she tried to do that, still she was given position of mother, what does Krishna have in his package to give to all the various Gopas, Gopis and the Brajavasis of Vrindavan? Does he have anything left to give? So therefore Putana is highlighted as the example of someone that better to have a brief but imperfect relationship with Krishna that will be more rewarding than a lifetime of a relationship in total ignorance about Krishna and still thinking that I am successful because I am glorified by the ignorant masses of this world. So therefore that's the Srimad Bhagavatam perspective, where the entire paradigm and narrative is being changed about what's our idea of success. And so the example of Parikshit Maharaj is also brought forth, a king whose life is shortened. From one perspective, people may think, oh, that's a miserable failure, that at the peak of youth he is about to die. But then the Bhagavatam describes how that is the success of his life, because he was preparing himself for eternal life through that particular episode. And so Parikshit Maharaj says, Tasyaiva meghasya paravaresho vyasakta chittasya grihesho bhikshnam nirveda mulo dvijaparupo yatra prasukto bhayamashu dhatte. That actually, if this episode of curse had not come, I would have continued my life. I would have continued thinking that this is, success. All my attachments would have consumed me. But this episode was necessary to cut my attachment to things of this world and enhance my attachment to Krishna. So therefore, today's topic is anxiety. So the definition of anxiety in material terms of what we understand is when things go opposite to our plan. When things do not manifest as per our plan, so that we consider as anxiety. Whereas as per the Srimad Bhagavatam, the gap between Krishna's plan and my plan is actually anxiety. And therefore happiness is described as alignment of our desires and plans with Krishna's desires and plans. So in one sense, as soon as we have that alignment, the word anxiety does not appear, because you are more concerned with fulfilling Krishna's plan, and all anxieties are then connected with Krishna's anxieties. So in the 10th canto also, when the gopis are taking care of Krishna, Krishna is sometimes running behind the monkeys, catching hold of the monkey's mouth, opening their teeth, trying to count the teeth. Krishna is, putting his head inside the pot of water. He's trying, the sun reflects against the, sword. And seeing that reflection, Krishna is excited. He tries to catch that and is about to cut his hand. So he's so chanchal, krida parau, atichalau, swasutau nishedhau. The gopis are constantly in anxiety because of Krishna's chanchalta or his unsteadiness. So they are unable to focus on their household activities. And so Srila Prabhupada says they are in total equanimity of their anxiety for Krishna. So in the same line, equanimity and anxiety both is used. So that is the real understanding of Braj, where all the Brajavasis are in constant anxiety for the sake of Krishna, for protecting Krishna. And that is the paradigm which we in Krishna consciousness are trying to inherit from our acharyas. That in material world, anxiety means calculating how to increase one's prosperity and how to diminish one's adversity. Constant thought process connected to increasing one's prosperity and diminishing one's adversity, that is anxiety. And one is constantly obsessed with this thought process. That anxiety is caused because of thinking that I am the doer, I am the controller. And therefore, sampatti and vipatti. These are the two obsessions of the egomaniac conditioned soul. Such egomaniacs, they need to recover from their intoxicated state of ego, and therefore a major detox is required. And part of the detox is to sometimes give a sudden shock. And therefore that shock is given by the Lord in the form of certain adversities which remove the intoxication of the conditioned soul, and then he wakes up and realizes that I am not the controller, I am not the center of the universe. Someone else seems to be running the universe. And therefore, Bhishmadev also, in his prayers, he says, Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam jaidapriyam sapalo yat vashe loko vayor iva ghanavali yatra dharma sudo raja gada panir brikodara krishnostri gandibam chapam suhurta krishnastato vipat. Are, look at the Pandavas, what a power these people have in one family. Yudhishthira is power personified, Yudhishthira is religion personified, Bhima is power personified, Arjuna is skill personified, Nakul and Sahadev are loyalty personified. Still, this family went through repercussions and reversals repeatedly. Which means, what is exactly the reason why Krishna is putting the Pandavas through this situation? To make us all realize that being Krishna conscious or being in Krishna consciousness is not an insurance against ill fate. But being in Krishna consciousness helps us remain faithful even in the midst of ill fate. Opening a hospital doesn't mean disease will not come. Similarly, coming to Krishna consciousness doesn't mean adversity will not come. But we realize why the adversity is coming and how I need to prepare myself in this situation to align with Krishna. So therefore Yudhishthira Maharaj himself tells Krishna that, my dear Lord, the kind of adversities which are coming in the Pandavas' lives in future, anybody reads about our pastime, they will be afraid to become your devotee. That how in spite of being Krishna's devotees, Pandavas are going through so much of difficulty one after another. So they will be in great trauma, whether to become Krishna devotee or not. Because normal tendency is to think that You come to Krishna, everything will be fine. And when we come initially also, that's what devotees tell us. Chant and be happy. Oh, you have got this problem, it will get sorted. You will go through this thing, that thing. And then when things, start becoming a little problematic, then they start revealing the real thing. Yasyaham anugrahanami tad harishye dhanam tad. Krishna takes away sometimes in order to detach one. Many years ago in Chopati, when I was brahmachari, there was a day when all over the world the Ganesh idols started drinking milk. Many of you must have experienced that. So when that episode happened, we were at Chopati Brahmachari Ashram, had just joined. So we were also very excited. And we thought, we have our Ganesh deity in our temple, we'll try to feed the milk to our deity. So we put a ladder, and we were few brahmacharis standing there, and I was the one below supplying milk, and there was brahmachari on top pouring the milk, and we were all asking, kya ho raha, kya ho raha? What is going on? Ganesh ji, is he drinking? ISKCON Ganesh ji. Or no, he's drinking. So then others said, no, we also want to come and see. And in the meantime, Radhanath Swami was taking a tour of the temple. He came and saw this scene. And he looked at me and he said, what is going on? I have never seen brahmacharis eager for cleaning so much. You guys won't be standing on the ladder to do some cleaning. What is this? So I said, oh, there is a global phenomena happening today. He said, what? I said, Ganesh ji, all over the world, deities of Ganesh ji is drinking milk. It's the breaking news. That time the word breaking news was not there. This was 95, 96. And Maharaj said, well, 6 times a day you are offering food to Gopinath. Is he eating or not? So I said, yeah, that is different, Maharaj. That is our regular offering. That is our bhoga. This is different. He said, drinking live. Pouring milk, going in. Don't compare. So he said, you guys are such a neophyte. You are offering every day and don't have faith. What kind of offering is this without faith? Like a ritual? Why you need to recheck with this? So then, because he was insisting, I was not convinced, but I told others, get down. Swami is angry. So we don't want to make him further angry, so get down. So they all got down and, our experiment was cut short. But I didn't give up. I took the milk and went to the Babulnath temple. I said, let me get out of Swamiji's range and go some independent research. Because still the research is complete. I was still fresh out of IIT, So I had to get all my theories verified. So there also we went and poured, and it was miraculously happening and everything. So Maharaj, interestingly, in the next day or 2 days later, gave Bhagavatam class, and he referred to this. And then he said, world over, everybody is giving milk not because of love for Ganesh. Because everybody is having so many desires to fulfill, and they are asking, please fulfill this desire, and so take the milk. And that also they are giving all the milk because he drank only for 1 day. If he starts really drinking every day, they'll stop. Who will give so much of milk? So the whole idea behind this exercise is selfish desire. And so Krishna, he reciprocates with his devotees to remove that selfishness. And that's basically the major difference between all of us before coming to Krishna consciousness, visiting temples, and after coming to Krishna consciousness, coming in contact with the Srimad Bhagavatam. What has changed? Only one thing has changed. Selfishness versus selflessness. That's the major difference. And therefore you, as devotees, even when you go to regular temples, none of your relatives will stop you. But when you start coming to ISKCON temple, or your children start coming to ISKCON temple, then everybody gets worried. Hey, where are you on Sunday? ISKCON. Next Sunday, ISKCON. The next Sunday, ISKCON. Why you are going ISKCON so much? What is their fear? Yad gatva na nivartante. After going there, they will not return. In the regular, normal sense. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is that literature which is giving a description of hundreds of personalities who developed a relationship with Krishna of total selflessness, willing to go through all the pain to give pleasure to Krishna. So therefore the Bhagavatam, in one of the commentaries it is said, Maha Vipattau Samsare Yahasmaret Madhusudana Vipattau Tasya Sampatti Bhavet Ityaha Shankara. Even in the greatest vipatti, calamity, when you remember Krishna, that calamity, vipatti, becomes your sampatti. That calamity becomes your opportunity for prosperity. So therefore, before coming to Krishna consciousness, when we visit temples and pray to the deities, our obsession was remuneration. Remuneration, what we will get. But after coming to ISKCON, after studying Bhagavatam, when we approach the deities, our obsession and anxiety was only one: remembrance. What we would want before coming to Krishna consciousness? Remuneration. Now, the only thing we want is whatever will enable my remembrance of Krishna. That is my real wealth. Whatever will enable my forgetfulness of Krishna, whatever may be that price, it is not to be considered a loss or adversity. It is just some kind of a tumor being cut off from my system. So therefore, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were in anxiety about remuneration. Now, in Krishna consciousness, we are in anxiety about remembrance. So therefore, when we are taking anxiety for Krishna, all it means is whatever responsibility you take, whatever duties you undertake in Krishna consciousness, your decision making and choices must be centered around this one focus point. Should I speak this? Should I do this? Should I engage in this activity? Should I take up this responsibility? Only if it increases my remembrance of Krishna. So anything which enhances your remembrance of Krishna is favorable for your Krishna consciousness. Anything which enables your forgetfulness of Krishna. If you are going to make a huge financial loss, but that's going to enable your remembrance of Krishna, so that is favorable. And if you are going to make a huge financial profit which will ultimately put you on paths enabling your forgetfulness of Krishna, then that is unfavorable. So therefore, that's what we have learned as an essence. Smartavyam satatam Vishnoho vismartavyam na jatachit. Sarve vidhi nishedhyasur etayoreva kinkara. In all situations, how to enhance Krishna's remembrance and how to overcome forgetfulness. So that's our whole focus area about taking anxiety for Krishna. And Parikshit Maharaj at the verge of death is also in anxiety. And he's saying, Tam mopayantam pratyantu vipra gangacha devi dajitamishe dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshakova dashatvalam gayat Vishnu gatha. People are in anxiety about destruction of their body, but he says, I am in anxiety about distraction of my mind. So therefore, external tasks, activities, profits and losses are not the cause of anxiety for devotees who are bhavagrahi. Those who are bhavagrahi, saragrahi devotees, they are only in anxiety that my words, my actions, my thoughts should not lead me on a path which will result in eclipsing my remembrance of Krishna. So that is the essence of anxiety for Krishna. So these are some thoughts before we open up for questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Maybe. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for this wonderful class. My anxiety is very good for us to remember Krishna. But my question is, for example, in terms of management or different services, sometimes we need to go a lot of stress and anxiety and different things. To what level, how we can understand, how much anxiety we can cope up with, so that we can only take that much.
That how can third person tell? You only have to decide. No? You can't ask somebody how many chapatis I should eat.
Yeah.
That only you can figure it out. So what is your appetite?
Like in this service scenario, we will not be able to leave the service. We have to go on with the service. But anxiety keeps coming. Maybe I have to ask you a question in a different way. How to take help.
Let me put it this way. There is one, your psychophysical nature. And according to your psychophysical nature, you have an appetite for anxiety in different activities to different extents. Okay. So if you are Brahminical in nature, so your absorption in scripture is high. If you are Kshatriya nature, your absorption in conflict is high. If you are a Vaishya nature, your absorption in increasing or acquiring wealth is high. So depends on what is your nature, and accordingly you can decide. So if you have very little Kshatriya spirit and you have very little tolerance for conflict, and then you take up conflict situations, then even little bit of conflict will put you in anxiety. And if somebody is very highly passionate and conflict prone, and you put them in Bhakti Vaibhav class, so every time the teacher comes in front, he starts getting heart palpitation. That 4 hours I have to sit. That puts him in anxiety. 4 hours I have to sit quietly and just hear and watch his face. That gives him severe anxiety. I'm not joking, I've seen literally. Because I'm a teacher and I see various flavors of students. And sometimes you feel like telling them, okay, I relieve you. I give you Bhakti Vaibhav degree in advance. Go and fight a few cases for us. We'll give you honorary Bhakti Vaibhav. So they don't mind spending 5 hours in the police station. They don't mind, going to the High Court, Supreme Court, spending hours with the, lawyers, advocates, fighting it out. So it's a very generic, statement you are making. So you have to figure out which is the area where you can actually absorb yourself the most. You understand? So if you're, some people are not comfortable with public speaking, and you tell them you have to give class tomorrow. So all night they don't sleep. At night also they are practicing. So that means, they are not meant for that service. So why to put them in anxiety? You have to give them seva which they can do peacefully. You understand? So it is not that we want to put devotees into artificial anxiety. So what is the seva you are most peaceful in doing? Maybe we should ask your wife. Oh, cooking you are peaceful. Come to the Kartik Yatra. Okay.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the wonderful sessions. I was wondering, what if having this anxiety for Krishna in service leads us to be at some point demotivated in our service? Maybe the type of situation we are dealing with is creating, and I'm sure there is ego in between, like desire for being recognized or being valued for what is being done. But when you try to do something and it's creating anxiety and problem solving and all that, and then you just feel like depleted and demotivated. And then I'm thinking, like, is this actually like a service? Is this anxiety for Krishna, or is it anxiety that is mixed with ego, and thus it's like material? I just would like to know, like, this demotivation in Krishna consciousness, because if it is an anxiety for Krishna, it should be motivation. No.
Yeah, first question is, has that service been given to you by someone, or you have created that? Because that is the first question. Because when someone gives you some instruction and seva, then a certain potency comes along with that. So there is a difference between service which is given by a Vaishnava and you try to do it, vis-a-vis we trying to do something on our own. And sometimes when you try to do things on your own, that sometimes creates anxiety also. So if someone has given you a certain seva, then you can always go back to that person and report that this is what is happening. So that is the most important principle. That when someone gives you a certain seva, then that seva provides you the protection. And you can always refer to that devotee back and report to the devotee and take help and guidance. Whereas if you're struggling and trying on your own, then you are confused and others are also confused. So you have to be very clear that I am performing this service under proper authority, under proper mandate. So that's very, very crucial, especially in this day and age where a lot of creativity is being glorified. So there should be a proper channel that the origin Bhakti begins when the origin of the instruction is from outside yourself. So that difference between karma and bhakti is, in karma, the idea comes from within me of what to do. Whereas in bhakti, what to do has to come from outside. How to do may come from me, that's different thing. But what to do and why to do has to come from an outside source. That's what is called order or instruction. Pujala ragapatha gaurava bhange. Otherwise, what to do also I think of, how to do also I think of, then many times it may not come under the purview of bhakti, it may come under karma, activity. So bhakti means you are fulfilling the order of the Vaishnava. So therefore this is the traditional understanding. But this understanding has a tendency of being eclipsed in a highly ego-centric ridden world of social media, where expressing oneself is celebrated. The original idea of bhakti has a danger of being eclipsed even in devotee community. And one may find this thinking itself archaic and irrelevant. But only the devotees who stick to the traditional idea of bhakti remain relevant in the long run in Krishna's eyes. Others gradually change the GPS address and go on another path. They may think they are still on the bhakti highway, but they have taken another detour. And only with due course of time they will realize they are reaching some other destination. So therefore the whole idea of bhakti is the rules of the game are eternal, and with all kinds of changing socio-cultural scenarios, you can't enforce those changes on the traditional norms of bhakti. What it means to be das always remains the same. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. On your left.
Yes.
Thank you for the class. Recently you were mentioning if you want to make quicker progress to take a management responsibility, and I inferred that involves taking anxiety for Krishna. But at the same time it occurred to me that someone, for example, doing book distribution may say that doing book distribution is the easiest way to get to Krishna, the quickest way. So could you please elaborate on this?
As I said, that today's day and age, everybody gets a million ideas. So you have to be even more careful before we jump on those ideas and try to do things. And today morning, I really liked Kripamaya Prabhu's presentation and so many different austerities he mentioned about the initial days, few days of winter in London, and I really find it difficult. So when you showed all those slides of several years of being in the cold and no facilities and this and that, it was really very moving, to say the least. So the idea is that we have to follow the instructions as they are given, whether we like it or not. So that principle remains the same. Srila Prabhupada received the instruction in 1922. He considered it as instruction. Some others may have thought it's just Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada making a comment. You must preach in the English language, or making a suggestion. There was no need for anyone to take that so seriously, but Prabhupada took that seed very seriously and he watered it diligently. So then it manifested. So therefore it's not a matter of management or no management. Somebody may be very inclined towards management because they get absorbed in conflict, and then their authority tells them, get involved more in preaching. And they feel irritated. I don't like to do that. I want to do more management. Somebody likes to do more preaching and they are told you do a little bit more management, but it's not this or that, but it is what is good for the movement and the mission and the individual. When we allow our gurus, which is our authorities, our seniors, to guide us, that culture ultimately helps us in the long run. So if you're always in the mood that I'll come with the idea of what's good for me, then you will always be in anxiety. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakala ashanta, Krishna bhakta nishkama atayava shanta. So if one is looking for enjoyment, one is looking for comfort, one is looking for perfection, achievement, accomplishment, excellence, sakala ashanta, all will remain ashant or very disturbed. So one disciple, he heard Prabhupada wants to make him president and he didn't want. So he wrote a whole list of reasons why he cannot be president. And he came to Prabhupada and he thought, when Prabhupada tells me become president, I am ready with the answer. So he offered obeisances and Srila Prabhupada said, I have a seva for you. He said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. And he was internally smiling, thinking, I know how to counteract this. And Prabhupada told him, I want you to take sannyas. He got bewildered. He said, Prabhupada, what did you say? Prabhupada said, I want you to take sannyas. He said, how is it possible? I am so young. Prabhupada, so what? You are young, but if you take sannyas, you are qualified. He said, I am married. What will happen to my wife? Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna will take care. But I got a small kid. Prabhupada said, don't worry. Everything will be managed. He said, but I can't control my senses. Prabhupada said, you take sannyas, the strength and the power to control your senses will come. Take sannyas. His mind was reeling. And he offered his obeisances to Prabhupada. He said, I can do anything in life, but I cannot take sannyas. Prabhupada said, become president. So, I may have my plans, and I am very excited about my plans. But what are the Vaishnavas' plans for us? So when you allow the Vaishnavas to ultimately guide our plans, then that's the most empowering situation in the long run. So therefore, it's very important to have a balance between our creativity and understanding that we are utilizing that creativity to fulfill the mandate of the Vaishnava community. So you have to always keep your creativity subservient to the will of the Vaishnava community. You cannot allow your creativity to supersede or roll over the will of the Vaishnava community. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami at the age of 90 plus is in the mood of submission and he's saying, okay, I will write Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Lila Ratna Sar Swarupera Bhandar, Teho Thuila Raghunatera Kanthe, Taha Kichu Jechanilu, Taha Iha Vistarilu Bhaktagana Dilu Bhete. That I am writing this Chaitanya Charitamrita as a gift to the Vaishnava community. Because it is an instruction, an order which is given. So we always have that privilege of being servant to the instructions and the orders of the devotees. So sometimes the devotees may say, do this. Sometimes they may say, don't do this. In both situations, our attachment to our plan and our surrender to Krishna's and the devotees' plan will be tested. Okay? Did I answer you or did I confuse you? He was raising now both hands. After my answer, he is raising both hands. He has 4 times the number of questions.
So my spiritual authority tells me, what would you like to do? So I get bewildered.
Oh, That is a very interesting question. So maybe you should have a deeper conversation with your spiritual authority, whether they have sufficient confidence that when they tell you what to do, you will actually do. Sometimes spiritual authorities are smarter than you think. And therefore, they may not have full confidence that you will actually do when they tell you to do. So they don't want to waste their instruction. So you clarify that first. Okay. So you can try. That this time, no, I will not tell you. You tell me, and whatever you tell me, I will do, and then prove that I will do. And then next time their tone will change. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. I don't know whether my question is relevant to this subject, but it's the anxiety that when Lord Krishna was leaving Dwarka, Queen Kunti was asking for the anxiety back, in order to
Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam syat na punar bhava darshanam. So she is telling, when Krishna is leaving for Dwarka, she is saying that the biggest asset I have is your remembrance. Okay? And I am willing to pay any price to enable that remembrance. So when we go through disasters, vipadaha, whenever the disaster would come, we always remember you. So therefore, I pray that you keep giving those disasters so that I keep remembering you. Now you have made us the kings of the planet and you are leaving. There is no disaster, so I am afraid I will forget that. The world thinks that Kunti has received prosperity. But Krishna, my real prosperity is not the kingdom, not the GDP of Hastinapur, not the gold here. My prosperity is your remembrance. And to enable that remembrance, if adversity comes and helps me enhance my remembrance of you, that is my real prosperity. So the adversity which will make me cry out and remember Krishna, that is a bigger prosperity than all of this gold and the kingdom and the royal throne, which now you have given to us after the destruction of 640 million soldiers. After rivers of blood have flown, now you have made us the king, the emperor. There is no opposition. There is total control. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And therefore, there is a big danger of us forgetting you. And your forgetfulness is the bigger adversity. Your remembrance is the greatest prosperity. And if external adversities enable your remembrance, that adversity I embrace as my greatest cause of prosperity. But while quoting Kunti, I always make a disclaimer, this is Kunti's prayer, not mine. Because Krishna may take it very seriously, that this guy is asking for adversity. Kunti was at that level. So she is actually expressing what is the standard of prosperity and adversity as per the Srimad Bhagavatam standards. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gauranga Prabhu, for thought-provoking session. So my question is, you said anxiety in material world is the gap between your plan and Krishna's plan. Now,
Krishna's plan and my plan.
Oh, Krishna's plan and my plan. Yeah, exactly. See, even here you're thinking from your perspective. Now, even if you intellectually understand this concept, right? When you face adversity and you say, let's depend on Krishna, let's remember Krishna. I'm not at the same level as Kunti Maharani.
Yeah, neither me.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing what she said.
So the anxiety is still there.
Yeah,
right?
For me also.
So what do you do is the question when you face this.
Rajesh is my classmate from IIT Bombay. So, he went into the corporate world. I went into the Krishna world. So you have one set of anxieties, I have another set of anxieties. Okay. But for us, because it's a global organization, every day so many anxieties come, so we keep smiling. But the fact is, the material world is full of different flavors of anxiety. And the important thing is how we can utilize that opportunity to serve. So the important thing is service attitude. And how to curate that service attitude is the most important thing. Okay? Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is not today's topic, but I thought that I should ask you. Actually, I'm following you on social media, and you cover all the aspects how to be a good human. So you're covering all the how to maintain your relationships in your work profile, personal, as it is. So my question is that recently I met one girl, and she told me that I am highly interested in Gita and all these things. So I told her, just join our temple, come to temple, take our lectures with our mentor. So she said, yeah, okay. So she's attending all the classes and all. So I'm keep checking her. And one day she messaged me, and that she told me that, do we have to refrain masoor dal? So I said, yes, we have to, because it's tamasic in nature. Then she's okay. Then next day she told me, we have to refrain coffee and tea. I said, yes, because it comes in the intoxication. Then after 1 week, she said that, mentor told me that female should not work. Then what should I say about this thing, Prabhuji? That I understand that in our Shastras it is written that women should not work. But how it applicable in today's world that we should not work? Even though I came here for the work only, so how should I give the answer to her? So what's your perspective on this, that?
No, we never say that female should not work.
So, but
like our... how the world will go.
But our mentor said that, Prabhupada said that women should not work.
No, you should tell her that our mantra begins with the female only. Hare. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, that's a different aspect for spirituality, but women should take care of their kids, being a household only like that. So what should I say that?
See, the whole idea of duties of man and woman from the previous ages, if you start applying, then sadhus are not supposed to take a flight only. We are not supposed to cross the ocean. Then how you and me will meet here? So our meeting itself is not bona fide. You understand? If sadhu crosses ocean, they are ostracized. So if you go into the whole list of rules and regulations, we will not come out of the bathroom only. So many mantras you have to chant while taking bath, you have to do this, you have to do that. I am coming from a South Indian Brahman family from Palakkad. From my mother's side, we are priests of Lakshminarayan temple. From my father's side, we are priests of Varadaraj Perumal temple. I am coming from a classic Brahman priest family. None of my cousins have anything to do with spirituality today. I have to give them lectures on why not to drink alcohol. So everything is topsy-turvy in Kali Yuga. So none of these things actually work. The important thing is Gopi Bharadur Padakamalayur Das Dasanudas Naham Vipro Nachanarpatir. Important thing is the 5 principles which Rupa Goswami has given, which is chanting, Bhagavatam, deity worship, Vaishnav Seva and Dham Vas. Enable this, follow the 4 regulative principles, help people chant 16 rounds, and transform your home into a temple. Otherwise, who will work, who will not work, this and that and everything, if you keep getting into the details and start comparing with the traditional society, you will go nuts, because nothing is functioning as per traditional society. Yajna should not be done using lighter. You cannot be using match to start a yajna fire. You have to do with the 2 sticks. And I have seen that. There are Udupi Brahmins who I invited, and they actually took 1.5 hours for them to light. So ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं होता है. It can be done. But we don't have patience, no. Even matchstick gets soggy, so we use lighter. So our rishis will get heart attack when they see that. What is this? So therefore, Prabhupada has very much inspired worship of Jagannath. Because Jagannath has turned around all the rules and regulations. If you go to Jagannath temple in Puri, have you been? In Jagannath temple, the best darshan is at night 11 o'clock. What is it called? The night darshan. What is that vesh called? What is that darshan called? Huh? No, Bada Shringar Vesh. Bada Shringar Vesh. At night 11 o'clock, Jagannath gives the best, fully dressed with all, ornaments, this, that, everything. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, you call people in Mangala Arati, very less will come. You call them late night, they are all ready. So our Lord is also keeping in tune. That you say you can't come in morning, you are party animal, okay, come at night. I am waiting for you, let's have a party. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada went to West and he gave women Brahman Diksha. It has never been done in the past. He allowed women to do deity worship in the temple. And because women were given Brahman Diksha, they do worship in the temple, so ISKCON temples managed to stay afloat. Otherwise, so many temples would have closed down. Even in India, I am trying that we should allow women to do open deity worship in the public also, so that a lot of pressure on our regular devotees will come down, because it's not easy. But somehow in India still some people quote Prabhupada said women cannot do public deity worship, so that is not being allowed. But things are changing a lot. And Srila Prabhupada kept with the times and made adjustments according to time, place, circumstance. Therefore ISKCON is where it is today. As per traditional temples, the whole temple design has to be a proper square with Vastu Mandala, deity facing east. Srila Prabhupada went to the west and someone said, oh, the church is vacant, pick up the church. This building is vacant, pick up. There was one temple which was previously what? It was a morgue for keeping dead bodies. And this Radhanath Swami personally told me the story when we were remodeling one part of our temple in Chowpatty, which was a public toilet, and we were making it into a DT kitchen for making DT sweets. So I said, can an ex-public toilet become DT sweets kitchen? Then Maharaj told me story. There was a temple where the dead bodies would be kept in a coffin after dressing and everything, before taking for funeral. That place deities are kept. So all these things, if you hear, the traditional Brahman will suddenly get a head spin. But the important principle is whatever helps in remembering Krishna and coming closer to Krishna. And that's what was the genius of Srila Prabhupada. He engaged practically people from across the world who had no connection. And I would say, see the sincerity of people in various parts of the West, the love they have for Vrindavan. If you currently go to Vrindavan and nearby places, people are in UP, they have never gone to Vrindavan. You go near Vrindavan, so many people are obsessed with land, with material acquisition, and so many thugs and rogues and thieves and fights and conflicts. Where is the bhav for Braj? So therefore, the consciousness which has been created by Srila Prabhupada in people across the world, that is very divine. That is very rare. Even in India, you don't find in places where actually the Hindu should be moving in that direction. But sometimes they are more interested in political things rather than the devotional sentiments of Braj. So therefore, who will work, who will not work, these are all very superfluous things. If, they don't want to work, fine. If they want to work, that's also fine. But the important thing is, what is the consciousness? So our society is Krishna consciousness. So that consciousness is important, and so many other secondary topics on socio-cultural things. We are not experts, and if we get too much into those discussions, there is no end to that. And we'll forget our main business also. What we do best is enabling how to worship Krishna, love Krishna, read and study about Krishna, and share about Krishna. A million different topics on how we should live, not live, socio-cultural, political issues may be very attractive and interesting, but we may not be the biggest authorities, and sometimes we make a fool out of ourselves by, getting into those opinions and trying to share that. As long as we stick to Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Shastric versions, we actually maintain our credibility. Because I am connected to so many powerful people who can speak on so many topics so amazingly with such insights that in front of all of them, we really don't have the wherewithal, the expertise to make comments on many topics like that. So we are good at whatever Prabhupada has given. We stick to that. We are safe, and the world will benefit. Okay? Thank you. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. My question...
Where are you? Okay.
My question here is on balance. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm sure you have a lot of responsibilities. How would you, from your life, give us some insight on how do you find balance? It's important to have a very strong sadhana in the morning.
Yes.
But there's preaching and other activities that happen in the evening. It's important to have a good physical fitness or some sort of fitness. Diet is important. And so is balance at work. And all it together, how do you do on a typical day? How do you keep, and you're writing and you do so many other things. How do you keep balance?
That's a very personal question.
I never get to speak to you in person.
Okay. Well, at least I try to make sure I do my morning sadhana on time and get a good night's sleep. So, sleep well, chant well, study well, eat well. So even with respect to food and all, Srila Prabhupada has given us the formula. Stick to Krishna Prasadam. And, with respect to that, there are a million different sampradayas on fitness and food and eating. And again, if we start getting into that debate, there is no end to it. So all I can say is, regulate your 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. That's the secret. Whoever has got control over their 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., then they can manage their 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. much better. Sleeping on time, getting up on time, finishing your morning duties, fitness or whatever is required, and then get into the day. Okay, I think that summary is sufficient. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This is time now for Prasad, and there is an evening program as well. So we'll close there. Thank you so much. Gauranga Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna.